This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, I don't know how to do the output file yet, but we'll figure that out once we're done.
I think it sticks it into a file. If you go to your computer tab and open it up, it'll say go to meeting, and it'll have a video file in there.
Okay, perfect. So the GoToMeeting is a directory or file. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You are Jason and Logan.
Yeah, I've got my son sitting here next to me.
Okay, cool.
We're going to need to keep the doors closed.
By the way, Jason, this is the first time I think we've talked, so pleasure to meet you. I've heard a little bit about you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Pleasure. Hey, Mark, you
know
call
you
it
and Mark
when you're ready. I'm sorry?
Said I know you and Mark have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
The guy won't leave me alone. Just kidding, Mark. You know, he's being very thorough and tenacious in your best interest. So
Okay.
got a good man there. Look out for that forklift backing up.
Okay. Where's the noise coming from?
It might be feedback from somebody. Maybe everybody ought to just mute their lines unless they have a question to ask. How's that? And Mark, it looks like there may be two people we're waiting for. I don't know. But if you look at the list of logged in folks, tell me if we're missing anybody. Christine,
So you
Ivan,
can
and
open the
Denise.
meeting just in a browser. You don't have to install the app. All you have to do is just open a browser.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm now recording.
Just so you know, I have another meeting that I have to. I was planning on being here for 1 hour, but I have to leave a little before. Well, it'll be 12:30 Iowa time. So I'll bail out. I'll watch the rest of the recording later, and then try to join tomorrow or on Friday.
And we're gonna pick it up again on Friday just to make sure we covered.
There's anyone else? Yeah.
Okay.
And this was meant to be more of an overview, not a training at all. So real high level, if you will. And you're probably getting more detail out of the videos than Mark wants to cover today. So we'll just go through a few things. All right, everybody, welcome. My name is Kevin with Lizzie, Dealer Management Systems. Just by way of introduction of the system, it's a web-based system. That's one of the key reasons Mark and Jason are interested, because those of you that are in your trucks today would be able to use something on the road by way of web connectivity on your smartphone, iPad device, whatever you might be using. Being it's a web-based app, we don't care what device you're using. Meaning, if you can browse the internet on that device, you'll be able to log into Lizzie. And Mark and Jason as administrators will be able to control what you see, what you're going to have access to, which is generally not going to be everything we're going to show you today. So it won't be as confusing, if you will, or have as many options available to you when you're logging in remotely. Just by way of navigation, this is your home screen. We'll discuss this big blank area here in a moment. To get to the home screen, that's what you're logging into, and you'll also be able to click on this home button up here. This inverted triangle, or this triangle with the exclamation mark, is a notification button. So in my case, I've got 4 items that Lizzie's prompting me to look at. I can click on the button and I can see things like appointments I've got due, calendar items. I can see it just fine. Contacts were merged, all that kind of stuff is here.
Can you see it? Yeah, a lot better on this big screen. I can see it this way.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and close that up. We show you the most common 6 items you're going to be using first, and then other items are hiding behind this little trap door here. Each one of you can put these in any order you want. Now, based on your security clearance, you may not see some of these things. For example, I doubt the guys in the field are going to be able to see accounting and payroll, for example. All right. Or it'd be reduced. Under payroll, you might have time clock adjustments that you can request if you forgot to clock out, if that is required of your position. Okay. Top right corner, just some highlights I want to share with you. If you're in need of support from our team, you can either click on the support button. Of course, you can make a phone call too, but when you click on this, it prompts a support ticket and you can type in anything you want. Lizzie leaves what I refer to as breadcrumbs, so we know where you are in the system when you click on support. And then you can type as much information on there as you want. I like that versus waiting on hold for a phone to be answered because, number one, it's documented. Number two, a lot of eyeballs see that thing when you submit it. So you're not just waiting for one person. It'll be 20 or 30 people will actually see that when you click on submit. Release notes. This is just to show you that Lizzie will never be complete. Software always evolves. Okay. This is just to show you that every 10 to 14 days, we've got a new version of Lizzie out there. We share the release notes with you, and you're going to know if we fixed a bug or we added an enhancement. And there's a few things Mark's actually asked us about too. So this is where we would announce it, and I'm waiting for a PDF to be generated here. We'll come back to that in a moment. Training. Now, Mark and Jason, you've been in. This opens up another browser window for you. Let's have everybody, let's see who's making the noise here. Sorry, Ryan, I'm muting you right now, buddy. Okay, there you go. So Train Me will open up this learning center. You can click on your role in the operation, service manager, for example, and it gives you a whole bunch of training videos about things to do with pertaining to your role at the operation. Okay. So how to build a new service ticket, how to do this, how to do that, it's all there for you. And this is the length of each video, so setting up a service for a minute. Okay. The forum is just dealers like yourselves, customers of Lizzie talking to each other, and it's moderated by the owner of our company. KB stands for knowledge base. This is like an onboard manual. You can type in a topic, and Lizzie will give you items down below that you can click on, and that's like a manual entry, how to do things. And you can print those out. So that's our manual online. And then the last one I want to point to out here, this little plus sign allows you to open up multiple sessions of Lizzie. Meaning if I'm in a parts invoice or a service ticket and I need to check on a part and I want to do it, or somebody calls in for something, you can click on this and it suspends the operation that you're in now. Lizzie knows you're logged in already, so it doesn't require login credentials at that point. And you can have as many sessions of Lizzie open as you'd like on your device. A little tight on a phone, but pretty handy on a PC or a Mac, whatever you're working on there. And then you click back to where you were. Okay. We're going to go through some of the contact stuff, but before I do that, Mark wanted me to introduce you to dashboards. So again, depending on your security role in the system, you will see dashboards over here. So if I'm in the parts department, I can click on that and see a mini report of things. These are web store parts requests. And then you got an inventory summary item down here. So in my little demo store here, we're a little out of sync because we've got 1,400 items that we've received that were special ordered and are waiting for the customer to come in and pick it up. Okay. But it's just information for you to have at your disposal. Okay. So that's the parts dashboard. And then you can see all these other ones, invoicing. So it's like mini reports on there, and all this is in real time. Okay. Service. So I can see web store parts requests, open internals. And by the way, these invoice numbers, you can see that little square there with the arrow. That's a preview button or screen. So if I want to look at this invoice, I can click on that preview. My dashboard is still on the screen, but this goes over top. I can take a look at what the situation is, what we're working on, what the job is. This is on a service ticket, and you always know what you've got right here. It's an internal service. I can close that and I'm back to my report. If I click on this invoice number, it replaces everything I have on my screen with that invoice. Okay, and then I'd have to rerun the dashboard. Internals that need to be signed off, and you kind of get an idea. Service is being completed, waiting for the customer to pick it up. And we've got service contracts that we've got scheduled to come in for whatever unit. And by the way, not to go sideways a little bit here, but this system was designed originally for dealers that sell and service and sell parts for lawn and garden equipment, outdoor power equipment, motorcycle dealerships, marine boat stores, RV stores, all that. So you will see that kind of a flavor in some of the units we look at possibly. But I've added a few of your things in here, so we'll be looking at that.
Hey,
Okay.
Kevin, you got a question over in the chat from Jason.
All right, I appreciate you pointing it out. Yeah, that's a general dashboard for the shop, for the entire operation. Good question. Jason, add in there, if you would, what you're specifically looking to see, and I can show you that by way of a report or something else. Now keep going. I'll wait for that. Okay. In this big blank area I showed you on the home screen, we've added this widgets function a couple of years ago. I actually received an award from a Power Sports publication for it. And it allows each of you to personalize what you want to see. So besides having dashboards over here, you can add a widget to your home screen. And you've got all these different areas that are available to you. So for parts, and Jason, this might be helpful, you can take a look at an inventory summary. You can size it, the widget, have a color on it. Maybe you want it to be red, and I'll make it a little bigger for you. And that's an idea of the information out there that's available to you. I don't know how to personalize that by driver though, so I kind of see where Jason's going with that. From a service ticket perspective,
Kevin, couldn't you, yeah, Jason's putting his message in there, but each van is its own inventory location. So
yeah,
we've got a van in, yeah, so let's say we got a van in Ohio, a van in Michigan, those become an inventory location. Could he take his van, like for instance, if it was van 5, and the inventory from van 5 would always be showing on his?
Well, you know what, Mark? Mark, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can kind of jump in here. So Kevin and I are working on two different methodologies on how to handle the truck inventory. And so we're still trying to work through that. But to answer your question, Jason, the vans will have their own bid locations. It's just a matter of whether we go with one way or a different way. But each van will show up with its bin location. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yes, and like you said, depending on which way we go. Mark, for what it's worth, if we do the multi-location thing, and I've been avoiding that, so I'm trying to save you some money, because each location has a setup fee attached to it. But if we did it that way, when Jason logs into his location, it's just based on his truck, and all those dashboards will be pertinent to just his truck.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking that that's a bad thing, but I don't want to.
No, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a positive.
Huh?
I think it's a positive for what you're trying to accomplish. That's actually a good thing.
Yes, you know, that way they're not confused with a bunch of information that they don't need to necessarily have. But we can sort through that. Yeah, So yeah, the bin locations in the vans are going to be dealt with one way or another.
Yep. And again, this would be specific to if we did the multi-location or multi-location dash truck. This would be pertinent just to that truck. So I can see reasons why you'd want to do it that way too. So that driver, that service driver knows what he's got outstanding. And also, that's open internals. And this is ones that are complete, ready to be signed off internally by somebody at the company, maybe a service writer that's overseeing everything. Okay, and again, you get that preview button opportunity here. This is live data, all in, again, real time. Okay,
Cool.
So good idea. Okay, we're going to do an overview of contacts. Lizzie's got a CRM tool built into it, meaning, okay, meaning that you can track your conversations with customers, emails to the customer. We have an option for text messaging. And Mark, that would be an overall organization charge, not per truck, okay?
Good.
So that $50 a month on our basic text package right now gives you 2,000 incoming and outgoing messages per month. And under the contact record, we track all that. Okay, so contacts, the way to look up a contact, you know, we want you to look one up versus, you can see there's not a big add button just yet. We want you to locate a contact so you don't create duplicates. But in the event that you do, we have a merge contacts. And when you do a merge, Lizzie includes all your back history of that customer into the one you're merging to. So you'll have all their invoices and service tickets and units that they own, that sort of thing. Okay. Now I know Mark is in here, so if I do Chase and Mark, you see the results down below. So if you look up somebody, it eliminates the opportunity for a duplicate because we're showing you results down below. And you just have to type in a few characters, and any of these fields are searchable. Okay. So if someone comes in, I know you don't really have much of a retail counter for what Mark was telling me. But if you ever had a customer come in that you recognize, but you can't remember their name, you can just ask them for their phone number to look them up, and you won't offend anybody doing that. Okay. Now, if I'm adding somebody in, if Mark hadn't come into my store before, let's have some fun with this. Jason, what is your last name, sir?
There's two Jasons. Which one?
Jason in Spain, where it rains mainly on the plain.
It's COX.
Oh, that was easy. Jeez.
I know, sorry.
Right. So you can see here, I don't have any results, and all I need to do now is click on the plus sign. Now Lizzie's going to prompt me for the rest of the information and click save. Okay. That easy. Okay, and I can put any information I want in there. Okay, including multiple phone numbers. You have multiple email addresses as well. You've got the main address here.
No, hell no. You know anything about that roof up that day or that building?
I'll go different here. And what's the zip code at the main location?
I think I might know something.
You know anything about that roof up there?
Nope.
Sorry, Kevin, I'm having trouble hearing you. Did you ask for a zip code?
Yep, I did.
52349.
I put the rubber around the bottom or all the way around.
54329?
It's supposed to be 100 by 100. You're coming through.
52349.
There you go. So we've got a zip code database in there that'll populate city, county, and state for you. Make it a little simpler. Okay. Then you just go ahead and put in whatever you want. Okay. And you've got multiple types of phone numbers you can put in there as well. And go ahead and click on save. Oh, that's all. Gotta hit that plus sign. There's my email address. Like I said, you have multiple phone numbers and email addresses to contact somebody. And then you might have a ship to or mailing address there. That easy. So there's your record on the customer. Okay. A few things in here. If you've got, let me get rid of that one moment. Sorry for that. So if you ever want to see a customer's purchase history, now let me pull up somebody who's got a little bit in there, because Jason hasn't sold you anything yet. I'm going to bring up Mr. Billy Jones. Nope, I want somebody else. Well, you'll see why in just a second. Okay. So Billy Jones, if I want to see Billy's purchase history, I can click on this button here. And we're forecasting a big group on years here. So I just click on generate report. And I can see all part sales and all tickets included here. If I ever want to see one of those, I can click on that view. I see that's a part sale. They bought that part. And this is how he paid us. Credit, and we had some other credit of some sort in there. Okay. And Jason, this might be important to you. View profitability is available to you. So you make sure you guys can see if you're making money or not. And all the general ledger hits that were created when they received those parts are all there for you. Okay. The rest of you doesn't matter, but Jason, you'll be interested in that. Okay.
Watch that one closely.
There you go. But this is just good for you to be able to see everything that's going on. That easy. Now, if this customer comes in, or they're a previous customer and they bought a unit from you, or they've had a service before, this button will show up in that customer record called customer owned units. You can click on that, and we see in this case this customer owns 2 units that we're aware of. You've got some icons over here. If you hover over them, it'll tell you what they do. So this is history for that unit, and this is when we serviced it. Looks like it's still open in our service department. Let's take a look at the other one. No history for that unit. Okay. So if I want to see detail on what we're working on, I can click on that preview button there, and we got to hit that. So it's still open out there, and there's nothing been applied to it. Okay. And if I wanted to start a brand new repair order, yes?
Just quickly, all these features that you're showing us right now, these are, you need to have permissions for them for each user for these types of features. So these will be things that Mark will set up for each individual. So
yeah, and we've got role-based security already designated in the system. So this would be like your service writer / service technician, because of your field guys in the van.
Yeah.
And then each one of those can have additional permissions added or subtracted depending on what you want to do. And Mark, as administrator, can handle all that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm letting that go to. I'm sure that's just killer loud. Sorry. Okay. If I want to start a brand new repair order on this Honda ATV that we didn't have any history on, this is a service bell. So you can click on this, and Lizzie opens up a brand new repair order. You can see it's a service ticket, customer information's there, and that unit information. So now we're ready to type in whatever the job's going to be. So, and the way you do that, every time you see a plus sign, it's an opportunity to add something. To add a job that's going to be related or stay with the history of that unit, you want to click on the plus sign that's on the unit line. And you see when I hover over it, it says add new job for this unit. Click on it. And I don't know what the names of some of your services are, except for refurbish. I know that one from Mark. Okay, and let's say we're going to apply 3 hours to it. We're going to allow our group 3 hours to do it. You can have multiple labor rates here depending on what you're doing. Okay, so like for example, your internal rate might be different than what your retail rate is to your customer. Okay. In your situation, is there warranty work done where you're paid for the warranty from a factory manufacturer?
Yes.
Okay, because we would have your warranty providers listed here, and you could just select them. Okay. Yeah. Do you sell extended service contracts, even internal ones?
not yet.
Okay.
So it's on
that
the
might
radar.
be something for you to look at. Yeah, that might be something for you to look at, and that way, your operation here will be listed as your warranty supplier. And in the meantime, you're billing them a monthly or something, and Lizzie can do those for you, as far as the billing and send statements, all that sort. Okay. Otherwise, the default is customer paid labor. Okay, so I've varied a job with 3 hours for refurbishing. I'm going to save that job. There's my job, and now I can add parts to it. So again, to add, you're looking for that circle, that green circle with a plus sign, and that's how you'd add parts. Click on that. It's going to prompt you for a part lookup. Okay. So I know one of the items in your parts list says battery. I put 200 in stock. Then you can add additional items. Say there's 2 units that you want on that work order, and I can add them to my job and close this lookup, or I just click on add. It leaves you in the lookup for the next part. And that part item is down here. Okay. So this is everything below this reddish type line to do with that job. I can assign my service technician here. So I say Bob is going to be working on it, and he's going to start tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I'm going to tell him it's urgent, or the customer waiting. These statuses or these priorities can be whatever you want them to be, by the way. Not this. It's not locked in. You can determine and put whatever name you want to call it. Okay. If they're on site, it's waiting or whatever the situation is. Okay. So that's done. If I want to, you see how this is kind of tucked up into itself. If I want to see that detail again, I click on this toggle, and there's all that information again. And you see it's assigned to Bob, the mechanic here. And he's going to start tomorrow at 10. Okay.
Hey,
Now,
Kevin,
yeah.
could you go back to the parts lookup screen? And I wanted to show them that all of the Gopher numbers are in the system. I think if you type in G, the letter G filter, it'll bring up.
And if I do a percent sign in here, it's going to give me a whole bunch of stuff down below.
Or you could, yeah, you could do the wildcard thing.
At least I thought I could. Give me a Gopher number, Mark, if you have one.
G filter.
That's where we put them all in.
I know they're all in there because I looked at it.
Yeah.
So
Let me do it this. Let me do it a little different here. I've got a. Oh, it's got me a please wait here. And why do I have this here? Should be like instant, folks. Yeah, I'm clicking on reset here. It's not even doing it for me. I got a hiccup here somewhere. Great.
Do you hear that manufacturer? Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay.
So yeah, just so everybody knows, the goal here is going to be to load all of the part numbers into the system of all of the major suppliers that we have. You know, Gopher, More Value, and Clark. Whoever we want, we can load in all the part numbers, so we won't have to struggle to try to find part numbers going forward. And also, there's some pretty good stuff in there regarding how you can put related items together, and also sell and relationships. Is that correct, Kevin?
It is, yeah. So you can do that. What you're referring to is cross-referencing the parts. So this filter, the first one might be the same as another one you get from another vendor. And Lizzie can, when you look up the first item, it'll give you the options of the others. Let me give you an example.
Quick question while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Is there, like I've seen how it lagged and froze up on you, is this data driven, or how's this work? Because we have guys in areas where they don't get good reception, they don't get good data.
Part of the reason for the lag on that one right now is look at how many manufacturers I've got in here. And that's just the A's. So it was churning through all this stuff to find that part number for me. You guys are going to have a couple of dozen, if that, vendors. So it'll be a lot faster than what I'm looking at. And the cool thing about Lizzie is we're not sending any video images or streaming of any sort. It's all data, ones and zeros. So it'll be faster out there, even if you're on a minimal service out there, like even
that was the key. Yeah. I mean, things are going to, if there's a lot in there, it's going to take longer. But I just was more that they can still use it regardless. It'll still work, was the question, kind of.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot faster than what we just experienced for sure. Anyway, I wanted to bring up the spark plug. 9, yes. just so I show you cross-referencing. So your cross-reference information would be here, and it would show you how many you have in stock of that part. If you didn't have any of this one and you had some of that, you could switch it. That easy. Now, in looking at that part 2, let me open up this other screen here. I'm going to parts. I'm going to locate an item. 06. Thanks for that, Nathan. So I'm going to, by selecting the part, I click on the magnifying glass. So this is the part record, okay, for this part number. What Mark was talking about is you can create cross-reference information here. So you can tie, this number is congruent with whatever number you put in here, okay? You can add pictures to it. You can actually have that picture show up here if you wanted to. Also sell with, this is what Mark was saying. So Lizzie will suggest to you additional parts that you should sell with that part number. So if it's a filter, maybe there's a gasket or an O-ring or something like that should be going with it. Okay. If you're pushing this out to your website to be able to sell or have the customer order their own parts, we could have a vendor interface out here to your website for Lizzie Web Store, for example. And we'll look at that in a brief moment here because that's on Mark's list. Okay.
Hey, Kevin, you got chats also.
What's that?
You got some questions in the chat.
Oh, thank you. No, you are not able to work offline, then sync back online. So thanks for asking that. Yeah, and Nathan, I believe you're correct that it's going to be faster for you. The bigger they are, the slower they are. So you should be quick. Okay, I think that's all so far. Thanks for pointing that out. I need to watch that.
Ryan asked if there's an app.
Great question. We actually have 9 apps out on the Apple App Store. I don't have them based on Android yet. We will. Under the settings area, let me just show you what those apps look like. Management, you can control who has access to these apps, okay? And just by a quick definition for each one. Lizzie Calendar allows you to create calendar appointments and set alarms to notify you of that pending appointment or phone call you've got to make, that sort. Lizzie Count is for taking inventory, and we utilize the camera on your iPhone or your iPad as a barcode reader when you're doing inventory. That can be pretty handy. Lizzie CRM allows you to add contacts into the system, also be able to see units and inventory. Lizzie Mechanic allows your technicians to clock in and out of a job, request parts, put in their notes, anything like that. Lizzie PUD stands for pickup and delivery. So if you're delivering units, have trucks out there, you can assign that trip, if you will, to one of the drivers. It works with, this app works with Google Maps, so it'll suggest to you the most efficient route to take, put them in order, so to speak. You can rearrange them and all that. It also will notify you if that customer that you're delivering to has parts on special order that have been received, so you can take those along with you. Lizzie will ask you to do that. Lizzie Pull, that's basically pulling parts from this parts department for the service department, for those internals, for other jobs. Lizzie Receipt, if you're buying something on behalf of the business and you've got a company credit card, at the point of purchase, you can take a picture with the device, your phone, of the invoice or receipt, and Lizzie asks you 4 questions. How much you spent, where did you spend it, what was the purpose of it, and which card did you use? And it'll show you a list of the company cards on your screen, and you select the last 4. And we're just showing you the last 4 of the card. And it'll go in as a receipt against that credit card and create that payable or be listed waiting to be paid. So you'll have that there. Lizzie Service. This one's cool because you can check in on a customer out on the drive, if they're out there in the parking lot, for example, and create your repair order right there on the screen. And use the camera also as a barcode reader for scanning in what we call scan tags. So you can actually, Mark, I think we talked about this. We've got available metal barcodes that you can stick on a piece of equipment, and makes it really quick. 1 second here. We lost somebody, I think. And
Jason had to take off.
Okay, all right. And then we have the scan tag. If you scan that with your device, it'll create the repair order with the customer information and the unit information all ready to rock and roll. So it makes it pretty quick for checking in a unit that you're aware of, that Lizzie knows about. You either sold it or it's been in for service before. Okay. Now the 9th app, you see there's 8 here. The 9th one is called Track My Service, and it's actually a customer-facing app. So your customer can track the status of their unit in the service area, and they can download it. It's always looking at your database. They can only see their unit, and just as you have statuses along the way, such as, let me go to my service list here. This is giving me a list of all service tickets we have in our dealership right now. And you see they're color coded, and there's your legend above here. Green means we've worked on it and it's ready to be picked up. Purple means we've got parts waiting to be picked up that we've received. Yellow instantly tells me that I've got parts on that have been special ordered but have not been received yet. Okay. So just an idea there. And again, Mark, if we did the multi-location, pretty handy for each driver, the service driver, to see where they're going on. If you wanted to do it the other way, where we're just using the bin locations for parts inventory we talked about, you could search on each mechanic this way, which would be your service technicians. Okay. So color coding, if you're colorblind, can't help you, but pretty handy to be able to look and see what's going on in your shop, in your operation. Okay. Mark, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So we covered a little bit on parts, a little bit of an overview on contacts. Web parts sales order. Tell me what you want to show on that. This is assuming they ordered online on your website. Mr. Chase?
Sorry, I forgot to turn the mute on off.
Okay.
If you have got something queued up that would kind of give us an indication of how, say, an order from the web would be handled.
Okay. So we can link your website shopping cart to Lizzie. So the folks in the parts department that are fulfilling those orders can come here to invoicing, and down here is web store orders. You'll get a list of things that are outstanding waiting to be fulfilled. Okay. These red ones haven't been reviewed yet. So if I click on the magnifying glass, it allows me to see what the parts are on that customer's purchase. Now these folks have a balance on them, so maybe they're a good customer and you don't require payment from them for special order parts. Otherwise, you get a payment of credit card or PayPal or something like that indicated. And when you fulfill that, Lizzie will be able to put that in the right account for the deposit. But this is where they would be here. And once you've approved it, okay, so let me review. Let's go down to this one. It doesn't have any review. Take a look at the parts on it. So you have this one part, whatever that is, on there. And by the way, did you see the bill to and ship to information here too? Yeah, sorry for the name, James Bond. Very cute people. All right. But now, since that's been approved, I can bring that in. This is my invoice here. I may want to call them and tell them it's on its way, or the other thing I might want to do, nice email too, that's funny. The other thing I might want to do is if I'm going to upsell them, remember how we had the suggested sale opportunity? I can actually click on the invoice here. I have the customer's information, including their phone number. I can call them and say, hey, we've got this other item on sale. We've got a matching helmet that goes with this one. This is a helmet. Whatever the case might be. This being bright yellow tells me, again, that I don't have it in stock. So it's going to be on the next purchase order for Helmet House. Okay. So that's what's going to happen here as soon as I click on pay invoice and I process it here. For whatever reason, they didn't collect any kind of a credit card information here, so I might. This is pay crazy. Okay, so your methods of payment that are probably going to be available is maybe ARs for internal accounts, American Express, cash, a check, and probably Visa, MasterCard, Discover, not all this other stuff. Sorry for the busyness there. But only yours would be listed there. Okay. In this case,
Hey, Kevin.
Cash. Yep.
Can I, this might be a good time to talk about that when it takes, this system actually sets up and takes a deposit for something that we have not delivered, which has been a little bit of a source of irritation with the current system, is that you collect the money and it goes into a liability account. It doesn't show up on the customer's AR as a credit balance.
Yeah, it's
correct?
Designated to correct, and it's designated for that specific invoice fund pickup.
Yeah, that deposit is tied to a specific order, correct?
So if I take this one, this is actually going to be a deposit on that special order. So let me process this payment. Cash drawer number one. You can have multiple cash drawers. So each truck could have its own cash drawer too. So now if I go back to that invoice and what Mark's referring to is on the GL hits, it's just showing that deposit is being held in the liability account. Okay. When the customer receives that part, so we go through our ordering, receiving process, now it's available for the customer pickup or drop ship, whatever we're going to do, or ship it out from us. Upon pickup, all those other journal entries are created against your inventory account, your cost of goods account, sales tax, all of it's applied once, or created once that deposit is applied. Okay. So next step, if somebody put us on hold. That happens.
Okay.
All right, somebody put us on hold, just so you know, we heard your music. Just so you know. Nice break. All good.
Okay.
So the next step on this thing would be creating that purchase order. And Mark, you've got that down, so I'm going to take a peek at it. Under the parts menu, I go to process items and locate an order. And that particular order was for Helmet House. So this could be Tenant or one of the other vendors too. Okay. And if I click on the magnifying glass, I select that item, the PO. There's our description of whatever that part is. And you can see here quantity ordered and quantity special ordered, both are one. And you may see that the one under quantity special ordered is a different color. That's a link. If I click on it, it tells me who the customer was, and there's their invoice number. So you have that kind of tracking all the way through. Okay. I'm going to go through a quick creation of the PO and receiving of the purchase order so we can do a pickup of this item to show you those other journal entries. Is that what you'd like, Mark? Okay. Edit the purchase order. There's my vendor information. It's got some accounting stuff for me. All these fields are not required, but you can fill in anything you'd like. Click on next. There's the part that we're ordering on this order. Lizzie gives you an opportunity to add additional items from that vendor for stock. Okay. Otherwise, click next. Any notes? How do you want to ship to you? And then I can go ahead and place the order. They can print the purchase order at this point. And it'll create a PDF for me that I can send to my accounting staff. I know I've got a couple minutes for you all off of lunch here, so I don't know if we got far enough for you, Mark. There's my PO. Calabasas Hills, okay. Now I can receive that order. It was from Helmet House. I believe it was this one. No. Try this. There's our helmet. Lizzie puts quantity 1 as a default because that's what you ordered. If there's a back order, you can change that quantity. Otherwise, I'm going to process this and it's going back in inventory. I'm matching up with my customer, and here's my receiving slip. Now you're receiving report. We also list the special order information, so you know that special order part, who it's for, right on your report. Okay. Now, presently, if you have a special order part and it's received by your operation, how do you let the customer know? And do they pick it up or do they have it shipped to them?
It's mostly stuff shipped out, Kevin.
Okay. So my customer, this is the customer we're working with, so I don't have to look him up again. Now I go to the parts menu, or invoicing, excuse me, and customer pickup. There are no parts to be picked up. There's our part right there. Okay, nothing further. And now I can go ahead and process. And there's your ship to there. So it's automatically going to your shipping department, ready to go. If I look at the general ledger hits, for what? Fulfilled by Amazon. Hang on just one sec. Oh, because I prepaid it with PayPal. That's why. It's already been paid. There's no balance. Okay. So there's your ship to there. So it'll go right to your shipping department. Send it out.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm trying to be conscious of your time, but I know we didn't get as far as we wanted to, Mark.
Yeah, we didn't. We're got about 15 minutes late getting started. But I don't know if there's anybody that wants to ask any questions or see anything in particular. We are going to do this again on Friday, and we'll be able to hopefully cover some things we weren't able to cover today. But I think the important thing is that you can see how robust the system is, and the connectivity is, I can't tell you how critically important that is going into the future.
Vince has a question about this replacing possibly QuickBooks, and that would be the idea, Vince. Lizzie's got a complete accounting system on board, as you kind of saw a little flavor for it with the journal entry stuff we showed you. But under reporting, for example, if you're the controller, you can come under accounting general, do your P&L, and it's current to the second. And it'll give you as much detail as you want, or just a summary report as a default. But the idea is to have Lizzie completely running the whole operation, so you don't have to have separate programs and that inconvenience.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can get to it, but can you go to, I think it's invoicing, and then to, maybe that's not where it's at. So I did a quote. What's the quickest way to get to a quote?
What's your quote number or deal number? Your customer name? You remember? Let's find out. I don't have anything out there from you. What kind of ticket was it? Was it one of these, Mark?
You're muted, Mark.
Can't hear you, Mark.
I keep forgetting to turn the mute on. Yeah, that's a service ticket that I set up that I was going to show a few people and stuff. but there's actually a quote, a deal quote.
I just looked under if you were the salesperson. I didn't see that. Do you remember the customer name?
Yeah, it was Get Clean.
Business. Where do I have a business opportunity here? Business in there. Yeah, I don't show anything there. Was it in demo
That's okay.
or was it in one of the other? It might have been in one of the other two trial databases you have access to.
Yeah, no, it was in the one with multi-stores.
Yeah, that's right.
Multi-locations. But that's okay. We can catch that on Friday.
Okay.
I'm sure that this is, there's going to be some additional questions, but and for everybody who's still on the call, don't hesitate to ask questions. We will, also be setting people up with access to the demo database so that the training and stuff.
And maybe
I don't know if there's anything.
If they want to funnel questions to you via email or something, you can prepare a big list, and that way we hit them all when we talk next on Friday too.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if you've got questions, just email them to me, and we'll try to see if we can set some stuff up for Friday, and we'll do it all again, because it's a lot of information to absorb, and that's why we've set aside as much time as we have for people to get training.
And sometimes I know it's like drinking from a fire hose a little bit, but questions are a great thing, so we make sure there's understanding. And I really appreciate Jason and Mark putting these sessions together, because I want conformity in the dealership versus the operation versus Mark or Jason saying, this is what we're doing, and you guys don't have a buy-in. So it gives you a chance to take a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Nathan's asking one last question. If tablet
Sure.
is in bad reception, does Lizzie save a draft of the work order and try to sync it when connection is found, or do we have to re-enter the data? Lizzie will save everything automatically to the point that you've typed in. So if you start a partial work order and it freezes, you get out of reception, whatever the case is, you should be able to return right back to it. Look it up by customer name, or if you know the invoice number, of course. But it'll be under the customer name here, first name or business name. And you look it up, and she'll show you what she's got so far. Typically, when you relog back in, so if I'm working on an invoice here and it freezes, so this is open. Let's add something. So there's one thing I'm looking for, but I don't see it yet. See how it's working on invoice? When you relog in and when you have reception, this should be available to you under your login on the left side. So you click on it and go right to that invoice. Because you'd probably be on the home screen, and there's your invoice item right there on the left margin. It can take you right to it. Okay, good question, Nate. Thank you. All right, Mark, I'll let you regroup with your folks and just reach out to me about it. I think we're planning the same time on Friday.
That's correct. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Be safe. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, everybody. You bet. My pleasure, Mark. Bye-bye.